So, in this video I will talk about pouring mediums. What is pouring medium? Pouring medium is a medium that allow you to use fluidity of your paints. If you mix your paints just with water, you can get your binder in your paints to separate. That's why we use pouring mediums that are mostly binders with some other additives, to keep your binder in your paints that you use on the bigger scale, or how can I say, no bigger scale, that you can stretch it more without breaking the pigment. And because I live in Slovenia, I don't have an access to a lot of ingredients that you in States have. And over my years of pouring, I came up with my own formula for my pouring medium that I use for my flower dips. And it's binder from Besner. So this is this product, I hope that you see. And I use acrylic emulsion. This Besner binder is mostly just a transparent, it dries transparent. It's white when it's wet, but it dries transparent. It's just a binder with some more ingredients, and this emulsion we use when we paint our concrete walls to bind two layers of the paint together. So that's why I thought, okay, this can work, and it gives a nice shine to my paints, and it's water based. So if I mix those two together, I can get some pouring medium by myself. That's how I came up with these products to mix with my pouring medium. I say my pouring medium because I start using this mixture for my flower dips, and I use it for all the other techniques too. But for you in States, I will mix another pouring medium with Craft Smart white glue and some Amsterdam binder, just acrylic binder, and a little bit of Floetrol. For most of the pours that you can work just with Floetrol, or just with Liquitex pouring medium, or Descartes pouring medium, or Vallejo pouring medium. There is a lot of pouring mediums on market. But for flower dips and reverse flower dips, and for the lacing and the fact that I get, this doesn't work. That's why I will show you my pouring medium, this pouring medium with products that you can buy in US, and I will mix some paints just with water too. So for the first pouring medium, I will start with European ingredients, and then we will come up with US ingredients. I will use just those measuring cups for the ratios, because it's easier if you have those labels, for the orientation, or how can I say, you can use your scale to what is more convenient to you, depends on you. So let's start mixing Fiona's pouring medium first. So first I will mix my pouring medium. I already opened Bassner acrylic binder and I mixed it. This is the consistency of the binder. It's kind of doesn't leave any mound. And I will strain it, because sometimes when you have this, you know, you can see those little lumps of dry thing, and I like to strain it. I will use just a kitchen strainer, and because it's full I will use this big spoon, I don't know the word. So ratio for my pouring medium is 70% binder to 30% of acrylic emulsion. 70% to 30% means 7 parts of 1 to 3 parts others. So let's start. I will bring it a little closer that I will not make a mess. Maybe I could strain it before, but I want to show you the whole process. This is 200. And 50. Okay. This is one ingredient of my pouring medium. You know, it's always you have in your mind that you can play with different ingredients and even mix different ratios. Just this is the ratio that I find that it works best for me for reverse flower dips, and 150 of emulsion. Okay. I'll put this aside. I don't need my scale anymore even. I will use it later for mixing my paints, and now I will mix those two ingredients together in the pouring medium that I use for most of my pours. So it's 70% acrylic binder to 30% acrylic emulsion. You can use other acrylic emulsions too, but this binder is a must for my reverse flower dips and flower dips. It's kind of a thin consistency right now, and it's white but it dries clear. So this is European products pouring medium, and now I will go to the other part. And here I don't add any water, but for the I have Ovatrol, but flood Floetrol is the same kind of, not the same, but you can use flood Floetrol. I don't have it here in Slovenia, so so for this pouring medium is a little more complicated. So I will use 150 milliliters of Craft Smart white glue. And again I will mix this in this measuring cup. Okay, about there. It's not, you know, that you have to be super precise, but precise. And next I will use Amsterdam acrylic binder. And I will add 100 milliliters of that. Oop, did I saw a lump? I didn't strain that one because I didn't think that it will have something, but you can get it out later. And then I will use Floetrol. Shake it before you use it. And again, 100 milliliters of Floetrol. And last, 50 milliliters of water. No, 50. 100 milliliters of water. Sorry. So let's say that 50 milliliters is 1 part. So I used 3 parts of glue, 2 parts of binder, 2 parts of Floetrol, and 2 parts of water. So a little more glue and other components are the same. So 150 milliliters of glue, 100 milliliters of Amsterdam acrylic binder, 100 milliliters of Floetrol, and 100 milliliters of water. And now I have to mix this together. And this pouring medium has different consistency than mine. You will see when all those components will marry together. It is a little thicker, but when I will mix this with paints, it will be all the same kind of consistency. It doesn't matter the consistency of your pouring medium. The consistency of your mixed paints with pouring medium are the most important. Not the most, the only important thing that you will have nice results. Okay, so I will show you both together. See, this is US and this is European pouring medium. Doesn't leave a mound or something, it's just run into itself. So the next step will be mixing paints. We mixed our pouring mediums, my pouring medium from European products and the one with the glue, and now it's time to mix the paints for flower dips. I just chose to do a white background, so I will mix some white for background and greenish blue by Amsterdam. I love this color combination, so I will use it today. Permanent red violet from Expert series, Amsterdam, and some gold ochre by Amsterdam. And for this stage I will use my scale just to show you, and I will work in grams. So let's do our base coat first. I will use this Bessner titanium white, that it's kind of similar that your artist loft, your artist loft from States. So I have to go on. No, I bought new scale for this and now doesn't want to work with me. Okay, so let's add. I mix my paints in 2:1 ratio. So 1 part paint to 2 parts pouring medium. So what is wrong with this scale? Doesn't want to go on. Okay, now it is. A little technical problems. So I will add 30 grams of paint. It's 35, okay. So I have to add 70 grams of my pouring medium. So in total it should be, no, let's go like that. I don't like this scale. I normally eyeball approximately 2:1, but I want to do it precise. Okay, a little more, but it doesn't matter as much. I'll grab my stick, and this should be the right amount of paint for my base coat, because this white is a little thinner consistency than Amsterdam or other brands. But base coat you want to have a little thinner than other paints. So this is the consistency. It flows right off the stick and doesn't leave any mound. So this will be our base color. I have to mark those that I will not mix them together. Next I will mix my greenish blue, and I don't need so much paint, so I will add about 10 grams. 9, 10. Where is my stick? 10 grams of paint to 10 grams to 20 grams of my pouring medium. So again 2:1 ratio. And I start with this when I use my pouring medium with this ratio all the time, 2:1, because different brands, different even colors from the same brand, they have different densities, so consistencies. So I start with 2:1 and then I correct this with water. So this is too thin for reverse flower dips. So I will add 1 gram of water. And this should be enough, because when you do more pouring, you will feel the paint, you know. You will know when it's the right consistency, even though that you will not mix all over, because you can feel. And this is the perfect consistency for the flower dips. Leaves a little mound and disappears. Okay, and now to the part when I will mix my pearl white mixture, because if you want to have lacing in flower dips, you have to mix your pearl white. And for this I use Vallejo pearl medium, and I will add let's say 10 grams of that, a little more, and then I will add half of the amount of titanium white by Amsterdam. So I added, it was 12 grams and I added 6 grams of titanium white, and now I have 18 grams, and I will mix this together a little bit. It's not necessarily. And now I will again add 2 parts to that, 1 part together with both ingredients. So I had 18, so I need 36. I will put my scale on. This scale is just weird. 36 grams of pouring medium. Okay, 39. It's okay, I hope. If it happens that you put too much pouring medium, it's easier to add pouring medium to paint than add paint to pouring medium. So when you are starting, I will suggest that you mix your paint slowly. So add 1 part to the paint, mix together, and then another part, the second part. So, but I kind of know that it's okay, but this one isn't. So if it's a little too thin, I normally add a little more of pearl medium to thicken it up, not the white, because you don't want to have too much white, because it will not lace. Okay, this should be okay. And when I mix all my paints, what I do, I grab some cardboard or something small, and I test if this kind of cell activator for lacing will work. And how I do that, I add a little bit of my pearl white mixture, and I choose one of my paints, pour on top, and then I blow here in the middle. And then I watch. If it starts to sell right away, it's too much pearl medium in there. If it doesn't sell enough, you have to add a little bit of pearl medium. But I think that this one is quite okay. I think so. And you don't want this to be something that you will not be able to use, so I normally grab another one and I do the same. You can do it with the same color. You don't need to, so let's do the other one, the permanent red violet on the other one. Blow, and what I do, I just press them together and I get some nice kind of coasters, and then I will have to clean my clean my surface because I do that. But I want to show you that you don't need to waste. See? And you got some nice coasters from your tester. Just dip here to incorporate kind of. This is one, and you can see that some lacing starts to appear. And the second one. I need a little more blue here. You can do just, you know, with your colors or with white. It doesn't, I will not go in details in here. I just wanted to show you that you don't need to waste your test piece. So those are those two that we just try to see if this is working. This is working, and you can get some nice piece of art out of that. So now I will clean this and we will go to the next pouring media. Okay, now I will mix my paints with glue, Amsterdam binder and Floetrol. So let's start again with this. Oh, should be here that it will be okay. 15. grams. We will do exactly the same, but with this pouring medium. And now I will add 60 grams of the pouring medium, so it will be 90 grams in total. Okay. And mix. And even though that this pouring medium feels a little thicker, when you mix it with paints, it's kind of the same as my pouring medium, even though that my pouring medium is kind of thinner when I mix it. Okay. Again, it flows right off the stick and doesn't leave any mount. Base coat is down. Let's go with greenish blue. Whoop. Grams. Sorry for the noise. Okay, 10 grams and 20 grams of pouring medium will be total 30 grams. Almost. And again, I will start with 2:1 ratio for all the paints. And then I will dilute them with water if needed to get the consistency that it's right. This one seems quite right. Now to the pearl white. So let's add 10 grams of this. Where is my white? Thank you. And 5 grams of titanium white. I use titanium white from Amsterdam because it works best for me. I know that my white that I use for a base doesn't work, so I know that you can use Winsor and Newton, but I'm not sure for the other ones. So I have 15 and I will add 30, so 45 about. Okay, and mix again. Just the right consistency. And now it's again time to do a check, because with this pouring medium that you can use in US, I sometimes don't get nice results. I don't get lacing, and I have a solution for that, but first we will see if this will work without a solution. We will see if this will sell. And what I see in this mixture is a ton of air bubbles that I don't have with my pouring medium. Okay, let's blow this. And wait for a second. I see some lacing developing, but not as much as I would want to. And I know that it will not help even if I add a little more of the pearl medium. So this is the ingredient that I will add, and it will work really nice then. So it's polyurethane satin varnish, and because we measure all, we will measure this too, how much, because I eyeball. So I have 43 grams, around 40 if I put my stick out, and I will just, if this scale will work with me, add 1 gram, no, it's 2 grams of polyurethane satin varnish to the pearl white mixture, not the other mixtures, to the pearl white mixture. Okay, and we will do test again. Maybe we can do this, that we will see the difference. Maybe I will have to add a little water now because it's kind of thicker. Let's see can already see right away that cells are forming, but as I said, I think that this varnish thickened up this mixture a little bit, so I will just thin it down a little bit. This is better looking. And do it again. Okay, I can already see that this work better, and you can see that it's already more lacing on this one than on this one, and this will still develop. So this is the solution for if you see that your pearl white mixture doesn't work. So for the last experiment, I will mix my paint just with water, and because I will not have any medium, I will add a lot more paint than in other two. So let's add, I will add about 60 grams, so once more, one time more than double the amount, I should say, that I added. I will just wipe this off. Okay, so 60 grams exactly, and now I will add 10 grams at first of water, and I will mix. And because this white for my base, it's so thin, I will probably have almost enough with 6:1 ratio. I don't know, we will see. Maybe a little more. $75. So now I have 60 grams of paint and 15 grams of water. And I think that now it's too thin. No. This will be okay. So you can already see how much more paint you use if you mix them just with water. That's why we use pouring mediums. Okay. And let's see how this will work with paints. So I will add 15 grams, no, 20. Before I add 10 grams when I mix them with pouring medium. And I will add 10 grams of water. It will be too much because these paints are thicker. So it's 2:1 ratio, but in reverse. When I use pouring medium, it's 2:1, 1 part paint, 2 part pouring medium, and here I have 2 parts paint to 1 part water, not medium, but I think that I will be able to add some more water, not I think, I can already see. It doesn't flow at all. So let's add another 5. I don't normally do my reverse flower dips just with paint and water, so Um, but I want to kind of show you that you can use maybe just paint and water too. It will not be the same result. So this will be it. So I mixed 20 grams of paint to 15 grams of water. So it's not 1:1, it's less water than paint. Let's add 20 grams of pearl white this time. And 10 of titanium white. Mix them together. And start adding water. 5. So I have 30 grams total of my pearl white mixture. And we will see how much I will have to add. It's still too thick. So now it's 10 grams water and 30 grams of pearl white mixture. So 30 grams to 10 grams to water. And now the test. So 3:1, 3 parts paint to 1 part water. So you definitely need a lot more of paints if you mix them just with water. Let's do a test. I'm afraid that this will spread just too much, but we will see. Oh, it smells really bad. Not bad. It creates a lot of lacing, and I'm just afraid that the pearl white will eat all the other colors. We will see. You see? Immediate reaction. And that I will not need to cover the corners. I will do that and then I will press them together. You can already see that it's already eating the colors, but not necessarily bad thing. Let's see what will happen with this experiment. I think that I didn't have enough paint. Oh, what is wrong? Totally different thing with just paint and water. I will just work on these 4x4-inch coasters. I taped the bag that it will be nice and clean. And we will see the difference. First we will add down some base. So this is glue. just spread this with my stick a little bit, and then I will tilt and see if there is enough glue. And this is Fiona's pouring medium. When you do those reverse dips, when you pour puddles or circles or bottle bottom pours, it's nice to have your base paint even. So what I normally do, I tilt like that back into the cup. It is a messy thing, but you don't waste your paint and you have a nice even coat. So different consistency, just having water, mix water in your paints than pouring medium. Now you can see why I tape my backs of the coasters. Okay, this one is good. This was water, so I think that I need a little more of this. I rather add a little more and tilt back, because you will pull some paint off with your napkin later, because it's a reverse flower dip. If you maybe missed it, I explained all the differences in one of my earlier videos. This is water. I just don't want to mix those, and this is my pouring medium. Oop. Okay, and the messy part starts. Okay, I will clean my hands a little bit. We'll just watch real quick for the air bubbles. And as I said, I will do, this is water from puddles. That means that I will add puddles. I will add just 4 because it's a little coaster. You can do more, but you don't want to have too much color, because you know it will spread when you will pour. So I will go with this greenish blue first. It would be easier if I would have this in my squeeze bottles, but because I do 3 pouring mediums, I really don't want to put all those in the squeeze bottles water. And now I will add a little bit of white, but not in the middle, but where previous puddle touches, flows towards the middle, I should say. And then permanent red, violet, and I will do this the same with all the colors. I really don't know how this one with water will work. And adding pearl white between, it will hopefully create some nice lacing. We will see. And then yellow. And it doesn't matter if there is a space in the middle, because we will, this one is a little off, but flowers are not perfect neither. And because this is a small canvas, it's not a canvas, coaster, I will use just this regular paper napkin, and I used to spray it with water because it softens down my napkin or towel or what I use, and it's easier to lift it off the surface. So let's I will have to remove. So this is Fiona's one. So this will not be the thing, you know, this is not glue, this is water, but I have to have space. I normally don't do 3 in the same table with different pouring mediums, so it's a little different. So I will put my napkin towel down. You want to have your napkin bigger than is your surface, and I prefer napkins or towels because it's easier to get rid of some air pockets. If you use plastic, you can get some air pockets underneath, and they are hard to get out, and it will not create, you know, a pattern. And this is the most important part, lifting the napkin. When you lift your napkin, you don't want to lift your corners too high. I grab 2 corners first, and I have them quite to the surface, you see, not high. And when you do those, you have to do this, because if you will pull this out, it will just slide towards your paints, and it will not create the nice effect. It will be, you have to do this to open them, and then towards the middle, open them towards the middle, and now grab this and slowly straight up. And here is our first flower. And this is with water, and I love it. But it can be a problem with cracking, so we will see. I'm adding a little more paint here on the sides where the napkin pulled off some paint. But there is still a lot of paint on the surface, and that's why it can crack, because it's just paint and water. And I will just dip Fiona's touch in the middle. When I do this, I go straight down with my finger, straight down and straight up. If you will slide or something, you will ruin that middle. You have to go straight down and straight up. And this is the flower with the water mixture, just from puddles. So let's put this one aside and let's do the one with glue. Same thing, just clean my hands a little bit. Let's do the same thing with the glue. Puddles. You don't need to be, you know, totally precise or something, because you will use a napkin. And you can play, you can add a little more of pearl, a little less. Just play with different amounts of sorry, paints, and you will see what you like the most. This is just a rough, you know, tutorial that you will know the basics. And because I see a ton of air bubbles in this glue mix, I will torch it a little bit. And I will spray my napkin again, like I did before. The same thing. And so it on half because it's easier to place it down. And when you press, don't press too hard. You have to just gently touch, like you would do with your, I don't know, husband, wife, pets, daughters, sons, granddaughters, the one you love. If you would press too hard, this paint will spread way too much, and you will not end up with a nice shape, kind of. But again, you can try, play with it, and you will see, maybe you will like that effect. This is just the rough, you know, basics. Again, do a part and then gather all the corners and sides and slowly straight up. And of course they will be all different. That's how it is in acrylic pouring. And now I need a little more white here on the sides, where I don't like to tilt those flowers, because, you know, you can go totally misshaped or something. That's why, because it stays quite a lot of paint on the surface, it can be tricky with pouring mediums. Okay, so this is the one with glue. And now the one with my pouring medium. I will do Exactly the same thing as I did before. 4 puddles, you can do 6, 8, 5, 7, whatever you want, number you want. I have to check always that I will not grab the one with other pouring medium. Okay, and you can change the order, you can change of course colors, but those are the 3 kind of, you know, they are not primary colors, because primary colors are primary magenta, primary cyan and primary yellow, but still some shades of primary colors, I can say. And of course you can use other colors for the base too, but you have to make sure that they are opaque. Because otherwise you will see your canvas or MDF board or whatever you use through them when you will do your napkin. Okay? Spray the napkin again. When you spray, I have this spray bottle with really tiny mist. It's not, you know, that some spray bottles have these huge drops of water falling down. I don't like that, so want to have that kind of misty, that it's, I don't know the word, small mist or whatever, gentle. Okay, let's leave that and then we will compare all 3 of them, and then at the end the dry results too, because they will change. Okay. They are all different. And now the sides a little bit. Just here where I see some. And I know that I will not get cracks with my pouring medium, but not sure for water and the other pouring medium. Okay, so now I will put them like they should be. That one is Fiona pouring medium, and this one is glue pouring medium, and this one with water already starts to create some kind of fractals. So here they are, all 3 of them. The one with water, the one with glue, and the one with my pouring medium. So let's start with the one with water. You can already see some kind of fractals, and the white takes over, but I like it. But we will see how it will dry. The glue one, nice lacing, nice colors. I like this one, but again, we will see how it will look dry. This one is the one with my pouring medium. It's beautiful, and I hope that it will not crack, because normally my pouring medium doesn't crack. So this is one example. As I said, you can do, you know, I just did 4 puddles just to show you the basics, how to do. But you can, of course, add more and you will get different result. This is just to learn the basic of techniques, and then you can upgrade from there.